you speak into this.
What? The what? Hi everybody. It's me, the well-known third member of This Isn't Fun Anymore, Caitlin. Today the boys talk about how they like to play sports games instead of trying hard at their regular games. They talk for so long about boring things. Then I talk about Kingdom Hearts, which is everyone's favorite, and then they go back to whatever, I don't know. Alright, enjoy. You let me do it. This is what happens.
Yep. I mean, I'm fine with that.
I'm surprised you stopped playing Turok to come here and play that.
Record the episode. I was doing that while I was working, while I was.
You quit your job and just play Turok.
You could make a living. Competitive Turok.
Well, because nobody else wants to play it, they would pay you to play for them to get all the achievements.
I'd be in a tournament by myself.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good idea. I'd still have to wait out the timer. I'd still have to join a match.
Right, just wait 15 minutes.
Match. Yeah. Capture the flag by myself.
Yeah. At least that would end if you captured enough flags.
Maybe not. Maybe the limit's 50. Are we boring you?
Yeah, we finally got a live studio audience. It's what we've always wanted.
Yeah, because we're so good at our job.
Yeah. It doesn't make us more awkward.
No. And welcome to the episode.
Yeah. I'm Chris.
I'm Phil. This is episode 45.
Nice. See? That's what happens when you say the episode number.
On today's episode,
do we know what we're going to talk about?
Nope.
Okay. I got a couple of news things. Played like one or two new things.
I could talk about some things I played.
Okay.
We got to do our big drawing for the prize.
Yeah, we'll do that at the end of the episode. Have people something to look forward to.
Yeah, because the beginning,
right.
Nothing.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. News.
All right. Do you have any other news?
Let me go through your list.
Okay, did you look at it?
Anything comes up now.
Okay. Let's see. Batman came out. Batman Arkham Asylum. I mean, you know,
Arkham Knight.
Arkham Asylum +2, which is Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
And everyone says
great on the PC.
Everyone says it's great, except for the people that tried to play on PC because it got pulled from the store because there were so many bugs and glitches.
Yes.
At this point, it's now back up there. But apparently, you know, Rocksteady, Warner Brothers said they knew there was problems before they released it. Of course they did, because how could you not? With that many problems, how could you not?
Yeah.
But they just released it anyways because they had to.
Yep, because you got to hit a deadline.
Yeah. But other than that, the people that were able to play it on consoles and stuff says it's great. They say it's between that and like Witcher 3 right now for Game of the Year. Of course, there's still games that haven't come out yet. I think probably Fallout 4 is going to be on that list.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other E3 games.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, Forza, probably on that list.
Yeah. FIFA 16.
Yeah. The new Madden, probably going to be pushing up there. Maybe NBA Live.
Yeah.
Because you can scan your face with a camera phone, so
right?
That's got to be up there.
It's going to be perfect.
With the Hoop God.
Yeah, you saw that?
Yep.
Did you go back and watch any of the things that we talked about in the E3? Like, did you watch?
I went back. I actually watched every press conference again, but this time with commentary.
Yeah.
From
your own commentary
from Giant Bomb.
No, did you watch the Ghost Recon Wildlands?
No, I'm serious.
That was pretty cool. Okay, you did. Okay.
While I was working from home, I just put it up on my TV.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't have to like visually watch it, but now I'm watching it with people who are kind of telling jokes, so it's more of just like the audio where I can laugh and I'd be like, the Hoop God's stupid.
Yeah. Stupid name, stupid hashtag.
Yeah. Apparently they also put his wrong Twitter handle on the press conference.
Yeah.
So poor Hoop God thought he was really
I know the only reason he embarrassed himself on stage like that was so he could get a lot of Twitter followers.
And that didn't even work.
No. But what'd you think of Ghost Recon?
Yeah, it looks good. What I got from pretty much every game from the floor is like, hey, if you have friends, this is going to be a great year.
Yeah, that's kind of what the trend.
Like, gotta get some friends.
Yeah, gotta pay some neighborhood kids to play with me.
Yeah, now that I officially have a neighborhood, I could pay some friends, pay some kids. Just be like, hey, can I just like join your squad?
Yeah, And did you see the Doom?
The other level.
The other level. Don't you think the other level looks a lot better?
The other level looks a lot better than the hell level. The hell level does look like it's, I don't know. I don't want to say like a bonus level, but like I just got the feel like, hey, this is super hectic,
right?
Because it's super hectic. But the other level kind of seemed more like you could take your time.
But also it had like more of the atmosphere and like the searching
like,
and like the puzzle of the
not
hand
having
things.
every weapon.
Yeah,
or you actually kind of have to be like, oh, okay, like here's the shotgun, or I'm running out of ammo, kind of situation.
Right.
The only thing I will say, the only knock I have for Doom after watching 2 levels as opposed to just 1, is like those animations for killing guys. Like after you like stun them, they're gonna get old real fast because they were getting old in the press conference.
There did seem to be a lot of them, but if you kill every character that way, and it seems like there's that option you can highlight different body parts. The one guy kept sort of using the same body parts, I think, because it was the ones the crowd was reacting to.
Well, I think part of it too is just like because that creature's like writhing on the floor, so if you try and highlight like the face and then it just happens to writhe and you get an arm, you're just pushing a button. My only concern, and I know it's still early and they only showed those 2 levels, is just like, hopefully they have more than one animation per body part. Like, hopefully every time you highlight...
it's like per, like, enemy too is each...
Yeah. So. Like, hopefully it's not like every time you do the face, he, like, just punches them and then, rips off a jaw or something like that. And, like, there's, like, a cycle of 5. Because, like, just after watching, like, the 2 levels, he only did those punch moves, I don't know. Or the finishing moves, like... 7 times, and I think I saw the same one at least like 3 times. I'm like, all right. Yeah. I'd get sick of that. I'd probably just eventually just.
Well, you don't need to do that every time, right? It's only if you're like low on ammo, or if there's a bunch of guys around you. Because I'm assuming, I don't know, you probably have a little bit of a shield when you're in the animation.
Hopefully.
So hopefully you can buy a little bit of time.
Yeah, kill animations are.
Yeah.
I mean, in Hatred, that's the only way to get your health.
Yeah. Anything else that you saw that we hadn't talked about, or you were excited about, or your feelings have changed about?
After watching it again and then listening to our terrible coverage of it, I'm upset that we didn't talk more about FIFA and having them bring out
Pele
to
for like 2 hours.
For like 2 hours for him to tell a story and not show anything about FIFA.
Yeah.
And then after his 2-hour story and he goes back, then they just start over like FIFA talk.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like Pele walks off and they're like, and now we're going to talk about a new game. They're just like, oh, now we should show you something about FIFA.
Right.
We should have really focused on that.
Yeah, we should have talked at least about a half an hour about that.
Yeah. But no, nothing else really came up. I still stand by my Bethesda 1 press conference.
They did too. Yeah. Well, because, I mean, they had the least games to show, but everything they showed was pretty great.
Yeah.
Even or like 3 out of 5 were like home runs.
Yeah.
So. A new game came out on Tuesday, kind of out of nowhere, Quiplash. Just jump ahead.
Never heard of this.
It's Jackbox Games. They did a Kickstarter for it.
I've heard of this.
Yeah, back in April, and it's already come out. And so it's the same guys that did like You Don't Know Jack and Drawful and Fibbage. So
Our hilarious first episode recap of Fibbage.
Yep. But so basically what it is it's kind of like all those other games.
Don't you only write funny answers? Isn't it like they took out the whole like guess the right answer? You literally are just competing for likes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So it's
all
elements
aboard the poop train.
Yeah, the elements of this already exist in those other games, but yeah. So it's 3 to 8 players actually play the game, and then you can have up to 10,000 audience members.
I think we'd probably get that number.
Yeah, at least
close to.
So let's say you have 8 people. What it does is the first minute is you just have a question on your device, right? Not everybody gets to see it because they're giving different ones to different people. And you write your funny answer. It says like, oh, like what's the, disgusting soup flavor, like cream of blank. And then you just, do whatever. And then once everybody's done all their things, then it goes into like the sort of the game show where it has the question they ask you, and then it only has 2 answers. So it only like, pits two people against each other, and whoever gets the most likes, basically, everybody gets to vote which one they like more, including everybody in the audience. That's why it's least fun to be in the audience if you can't be in the game. And then they get points for that. Then at the very end, everybody answers just the one question. So you have all 8 answers up there. And then if you're in the game, like the top 8 players get to vote like on their favorite 3, and then the audience members just get to vote on the
Their favorite one.
So it's it's basic. It's fun. I actually played. I found a live stream and played with them. I was in the audience one game and I was in the game once. And it's fun. It's definitely fun. Like all those, like
Yeah.
even like talking about Fibbage, it doesn't sound fun, but when you play it, you're like, oh yeah, I just want to play this for another 6 hours. But because I wasn't playing with people that I knew were in the same room, I felt it was less fun than like a Fibbage.
Yeah, well, I feel like that was kind of like all the Jackbox games is like playing with people where you're in the same room and you can kind of joke and do stuff in between the actual answers and see people laugh. It just adds to the excitement as opposed to just like being alone and looking at other people typing answers. Because that's kind of like, I mean, this isn't the exact same thing, but when we like opened up to the floor and we were playing for the stream, there's just like the 2 guys who just like constantly wrote like fuck, and like over and over again, and then kept like liking their own answer. It's just like, are you having a good time? Like, are you having a good time by yourself? Because no one else thinks it's fun.
And that's kind of the problem too. You're totally at the mercy of whoever's playing, because it's not like the other games that are like trivia games where there is a right answer and you're just trying to trick everyone. This is straight up Mad Libs. Just say something funny. And if your audience is stupid or the other people you're playing with is juvenile, they're going to pick those stupid stuff. That kind of started happening in the stream that I was in. It was like anything that was like homophobic or like racist would always get upvotes. And then the host just started kicking those people out because he's like, "This is not fun, guys." So,
but yeah, I mean that's what I'd worry about. That all those games would kind of devolve into if you're not playing in house.
Yeah, I mean, there's no like multiplayer like matchmaking or anything. You have to, put the room code in and all that stuff. But
like, yeah, I mean, like that's what I'm just thinking. Like, you kick it to the audience, or you do a live stream of it, and maybe you have like 10 guys in house, and they're the ones creating the answers, and that's great. But then you're always just going to kind of have that like. The audience where it's just like, oh, say gay again.
Right?
Okay. Great.
Yeah. But it's definitely another fun game to add into the collection of those games. Like if somebody came over to play a bunch of games, like it's good to have like another one to try out. So Thomas Was Alone is on sale this week on Xbox One. For half off, so it's $5.50. It was $11. You said if it's $10 or less, you should get it.
Yeah, I stand by that.
So now it's $5.50.
You should get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it. The problem is, I kind of wanted to wait, only because I'm not ready to play it right now.
You got to be in the right headspace.
Well, not that. I meant like because of our stupid achievement contest. I don't need another game right now. I'm still have so many achievements on the other games that I've half started.
Yeah.
So it's like if I don't play it right now, maybe wait. Because the Ultimate Game Sale's coming up, something like that. Maybe it's going to be even cheaper.
How long is it on sale for? Do you know?
Probably till Monday, because Tuesday is when the Ultimate Game Sale starts. But who knows? It might be part of that sale as well.
Yeah.
Or it might be the free game next month. Like.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're not going to play it, you can sit on it.
Yeah.
I mean, worst case scenario is like you just.
Or should I just buy it and just play it this week?
Well, I'm not going to tell you what to do from a guy who. From my game choices, has owns Turok. But I mean, like I liked it. It's probably eventually going to be on a game sale. If they're still doing free games and they're still doing arcade games, like I have to imagine that it's going to come up,
right?
And if you're certainly not going to play it like right away, like then there's no need to rush out and get it. It'll probably be on sale again at least,
Yeah. I don't know. I'm in a weird mood right now where like nothing interests me. Like, it's a combination of like I have like ADD where I don't want to play anything because I'm like I don't really want to do that. And then at the same time it's like, oh well, the stupid achievement contest is like I've already got my achievements for this week, so I can't even play if I wanted to.
Can I just say I want this contest to be over? Like I kind of want to just throw it.
Like a week or two. It was like a week or two ago. We were pretty close to getting kicked out of the individual one. And like I didn't attempt to get any more achievements to be safe because I was like, if I get kicked out, I'll be like, oh no. Yeah. It would be very bittersweet once we're out of it. Because then I can maybe have fun again.
I'm thinking to maybe just throw in the competition.
Just the personal one, I'm assuming?
Yeah, well...
Like the individual one?
Here's the thing, though. If I throw the individual one and I'm out of the individual one, like that's not going to be like, oh, well, now I'm going to double down on it. It's just like...
I know you're not going to be trying anymore, but you're not going to go out of your way to not get any achievements just so we get kicked out of that.
No. What I'm thinking is just like right now, for instance, like I'm below you in this week's contest.
Yeah, and we got like a day left.
We got a day left, and I'm just like, tomorrow's 4th of July.
Yep.
I'm probably not going to be around a gaming machine for most of the day. I'm just like, if I don't get any more and I get kicked out, okay. Like I haven't been stopping myself from playing, but at the same time I've been forcing myself to like get achievements.
Yeah.
Like it was reversed. Like when we first started, it was just like play, get a bunch of achievements and then stop. I'm like, I can't get any more. And now I'm on the other end of the spectrum where it's just like, don't play for an entire week, and then Friday, Saturday rolls around, and I'm like, I gotta fucking...
Yeah.
All right, I'll play Splinter Cell. Like I can just get these because I can just leave the game on for 10 minutes or 20 minutes. And like the Turok ones is just like that was just like out of necessity, where I'm just like, all right, well I can just play through the campaign. The campaign can't be too tough. And now I'm just like, I don't want to get any more. Like
well, part of that's because you're playing bad games, like always. But
I'd never play bad games.
But do you think if you are out of this contest now, you're just not going to play at all? Because I thought, like, hey, get out of the contest so you can just play whenever you want or not play or whatever. But it sounds like you just don't want to play video games for a while.
No, like, it would be... I would still play video games. It would just... I think I wouldn't focus on, okay, don't play that game because I can't get an achievement right away.
Yeah.
Like, it would be like, hypothetically speaking, like, I can't start an RPG that I really want to get into because
it'll
the
be like
achievements
7 hours
are going to be so far
yeah.
away. So it's like, because there are games where I'm just like, man, I kind of miss, like, talking about Fallout, and it's not that I want to go back and play Fallout 3, but it's like, I kind of want that open world giant hub game.
Well, you can just go in and do whatever you want and play for an hour or two.
Like, yeah, like, man, I wouldn't mind, like, starting Skyrim, because that's, same company, I haven't played it, big open world, granted it's fantasy and not guns, but just like, I kind of want to start like a really big RPG, but I can't, because it's just like, well, then I have to rush through quests to get achievements or not get any. So it's just like, well, if I'm out of the competition, then I don't
do what
really
I want.
I can just play it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that too, I kind of hit a wall with Massive Chalice. So after we talked about it a bunch, tried to go back and play. I played it like once or twice. The problem is there's like a corruption with my save. So both times I've gotten up to year 250, and like when I'm saving it and playing it, it's fine. But when I come back and try to play again, it kicks me back to like year 195. It says cannot find save. And no matter how many I do or how many I overwrite or delete or do new ones, so since then I haven't really played.
Yeah, well that makes sense if you can't actually save.
Because it's like I could just sit down and play for all the way to the end of the game. But
that's like 6 hours,
right? And that's also,
I imagine it really heats up when you get to like 200, 250.
Plus, I haven't been doing this, but the smart way to do it is to save a bunch, and if you mess up or a guy dies or something like that, you go back to a previous save. But I can't even do that if I want to, because once I save it, I can't go back.
Yeah, you just got one run at it, and it has to be leave the game on.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, like...
So I don't know if maybe they're going to patch that out, or maybe it's just something wrong with my save files. I got to delete. Like, there's other things I can try.
Yeah, there's
but
like
right now I just moved on to something
actual
out.
Save file from the hard drive and then start fresh. But then you are starting like level 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't really played since we talked about it either. Even though I want to, and I thought about like I could get back into Master Child. It's always I could do this. But I'll play basketball.
But at the same time, too, I kind of just want to start over from scratch now that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Speaking of basketball, so after E3, for a week, the EA Access Hub was free. Yep. So any of the games on there were free. So I downloaded and played NHL 15, the actual game, for like a week. That was a lot of fun. I got to just play, do whatever I want, not care about achievements, and I basically had already decided that I was going to buy the next iteration, and then since then they've announced the cover for it. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah, it's Kane
it's Kane and
Taves.
Taves.
Yeah.
So that kind of seals it. I have the other ones with them on it too. It's weird because they've both been on it in the last 5 years.
Yeah, individually.
And now they've never had two people on the cover ever. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Blackhawks are the only team in Chicago that matters.
Yeah. What are you talking about? The Chicago Fire is pretty good.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't think so.
But yeah, it was fun. I created a player. I was just going through the story mode, the create a player mode. And I don't know how it is in the basketball games, but when you do that, you have to play as only that person.
Yeah.
Like, you can't switch,
Yeah, the career mode for 2K is the same.
Yeah.
Like, that's your character. When you're on the bench, you're on the bench.
Yeah, you sit there and watch from the bench.
Yeah, you can skip the bench portion until the next time you come in, but at the same time, you're literally just like, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, you play out of position, then the other guy scores, you get negative points because
right.
you screwed up.
Exactly. And the thing is, my guy was a center too, and I got drafted to the Hawks. I got lucky, and so, but I never wanted to be out there. I'm like, I'm not gonna take Taves off the ice so I can go play for a while. I was like, maybe he should just be center for half the game, and I just sat on the bench.
Yeah. You wanted the realistic version where you don't actually play.
Exactly. I just wanted to watch the game.
First person view.
Yeah. There was one game that I just went crazy on. I don't know what happened. Like, maybe the settings got messed up or something. But we were playing the Rangers, and I scored 26 goals in the game. It was 26-1, and it was on pro mode.
That's possible.
I found the Tecmo Bowl perfect play where you cannot defend against it. And if I won the opening face-off, I could go down and score within 6 seconds. And I just kept doing it over and over and over.
Yeah.
I wanted to see who their third string goalie was, but they never put him in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't... something had to... Were you able to replicate in a second game or something like that? Yeah, so something had to have just, glitched out where it's just oh, the goalie no longer remembers how to block a shot.
But they give you season goals to have, hey, we expect you to get, and it was 27 assists. I got it in the first 3 games because of that.
Well, yeah, if you all of a sudden get 26 goals, I imagine it's for the whole season we want you to score 20 points.
Right.
And you're just well done.
Okay. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And the reason that I didn't just go ahead and buy this version, one is because it's so close to the other one.
Yeah.
But this one was a really pared down. I guess the 360 had all the features, but the Xbox One of the NHL 15 was they cut half of the features and half the modes. So
hopefully they don't.
It was fun to just be able to pick up and play a sports game and not worry about.
Sports games are great.
Yeah,
I enjoy them.
What else do we got?
Is on your list somewhere little Destiny?
Yeah.
I mean, because that was the big news out of E3.
Out of E3, so, they announced the Taken King, which is their big new expansion.
Yeah.
But with that are a bunch of different versions of it. So you can just buy, the DLC digitally. You can get, a new collector's pack, or you can get, the Taken King version, I think, which we talked about, which was $80 for all the DLC and the new game. But what we didn't know is that you get, if you buy that version, you get exclusive stuff that you couldn't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
So there was things not only legendary items,
new dance,
but new. They call them emotes. So I don't know. I think it's all 4, not just dancing.
Yeah.
But that's dancing is all people cared about.
Yeah.
Well, people were upset because Destiny is very much a game of collecting. At least the people that still play it, they want to collect everything and have everything, and there was no other way to get this unless if you paid $80 and rebought all the stuff that you probably already have.
Yeah.
And so, Destiny, Bungie kind of responded to that by being hey, you're not going to get that stuff, but you're going to get something better. Because it was just, damage control. They didn't know what it was yet.
Yeah.
So since then, they kind of have, announced a couple things. They'll say you're going to get all of the same type of items, but different versions of that, which nobody wants. Or they said you could buy it. You could buy those special packs for $20.
So now you pay $40 for the Taken King,
right?
And then $20 to get your new dance.
So their response to, hey, you guys are like a money grab trying to gouge money out of us was like, yeah, okay, well, if you don't want to pay $80, you can pay $20 for even less stuff.
But 20 doesn't even get you the Taken King.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Just those extra items is $20.
It's a great...
Now, they don't set pricing. Activision does.
No, I know.
But still.
Like, I feel like this is a hilarious... For me, as an outsider who has no investment in Destiny, like, hearing all of these stories come out is kind of... like comedy gold for me, because it's just like all these people are like, Destiny, you are a cash grab, we hate you for that, we are loyal to your game,
like we want to keep playing your game and get all your stuff,
but
don't put up walls
dicks. And then all of a sudden they're just like, fine, we won't be dicks, how about Taken King for $40 and then a new gun for $20? Like, no,
you're not listening. And they also are saying like they're going to give people that have played, year one, supposedly, they're giving them other stuff. They've already like showed like, oh, you can get a new emblem and stuff. It's like, well, don't really care about that.
Yeah.
And also that means that everybody's going to have that same emblem then. If you give out one emblem to like hardcore people or whatever, everyone's going to have that emblem.
Yeah.
That's already the problem. Like, there's certain emblems that are very hard to get. There's so far just one exotic emblem, and if you have it, then you have it as your emblem. Like that's, and so everybody that you play with, you see it's just one emblem now, and they keep throwing new ones at you all the time, but nobody cares about those.
They want the hard to get one.
Yeah,
you don't be like, you know what, this one was kind of cool. It's like, no, everyone has that.
Yeah.
This one only 8% has.
It's gotten to the point where I've seen somebody in like the tower or something, like, oh, that guy has got really cool stuff. I've never seen that. Like, what is he wearing? And then I click on him. He's like a level 2. He's got all the stuff you start with the game with, but you don't see that because everybody just has the very best stuff all the time, and there's like no customization anymore.
How do you feel, just in general, about drinking Red Bull?
I hate it so much, but the good news is my sister like only drinks it.
Sure.
So I haven't done this yet, but I've thought about just asking her like, hey,
save your
you
Red
probably
Bull
have
cans.
a bunch of codes.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. That's that actually is how they leaked the name like a month or two ago about the Taken King, was because of the stupid Red Bull promotion they've had.
Yeah.
So I don't exactly know how it works, other than you get codes in it in the Red Bull for extra XP or something.
I thought there is a Red Bull specific event that you get the code for in a Red Bull. You have to buy one Red Bull.
Yeah.
And then like that code opens up an event. I don't know if it's a strike or whatever it is, but it's one Red Bull event, and then like other can codes will just give you experience. Like if you keep drinking Red Bull,
yeah,
like, and you've already cashed in your event token or whatever the hell it is,
yeah,
like the rest of the codes that you put in will just give you experience.
Yeah, because I know that on their website now you can just go in and input the codes right now. So like if you're buying Red Bull, you don't want to have to sit on codes for a couple months until the Taken King comes out. So you can just put them in now. But I think it's similar to the thing that like Halo 4 did with like Mountain Dew, where if you bought Mountain Dew, there was codes to get additional XP.
Yeah, Call of Duty always has their like drink Sprite or whatever crap it is and get double XP.
I mean, it costs like $1 to get like one of these drinks, so it might be worth it if there is actually extra content in the game other than XP.
Yeah, I mean, I think you fight a giant Red Bull with a gun. That
actually sounds pretty full. So I would do that.
It seems weird that and Destiny's by far not the first game to do it. I mean, I remember my workout game, Your Shape Fitness, like, you had to scan, they had new Gatorade containers, and if you scan the Gatorade, it opens up like a new jogging area. Yeah. So it's like, this is your Gatorade Fit jogging area. It's like, there's more, objectives, which is just, like run harder. But at the same time, I was just like, that was locked behind a wall of buy a Gatorade so we can scan it with the Kinect. Right. So that you can jog somewhere. Like, what
it just seems like a lot more effort and money on their end than what you actually get out of it.
Well, you figure Red Bull's fronting all the cost for this.
No, yeah, but still, I think Red Bull's still spending more money on like promotion and new labels and getting all the codes and all that stuff than they're gonna probably make back. I think from people buying Red Bull. Yeah,
yeah, I agree. I mean, who knows what like the trade-off is? It's just like Red Bull's just like, hey, we'll give you $10 million if you could put like the new gear or whatever is going to have the Red Bull emblem on the back or something stupid, and they're just like, we'll put that in the game because if anyone's wearing that, that's just free advertising that we'll eventually get, and in return, we'll put Destiny on all of our cans of Red Bull for, 6 months.
Yeah, did you hear that Dying Light responded to that with their own contest of drinking water? If you drink water, you'll get XP in the game. If you tweet a picture of yourself drinking water to like Techland or whatever, they'll give you XP.
I did not read that, but that's pretty great.
Yeah.
That's the balance.
Yeah.
One person drinks Red Bull, gets closer to death, and then the other person drinks water.
Also, I guess, sort of on that news, is all the Halo 5 pre-orders that you're going to get, you can unlock by actually playing through the game. So you don't have to buy like 6 different versions, even though there's going to be exclusive pre-order stuff at different retailers or different like legendary editions or whatever you get.
Yeah.
You will be able to get everything in the game. If you don't know what you have to do for it yet. You might have to kill 10,000 people or something like that. But it is all available. It's not going to be. They're not putting up walls for content.
That's smart.
So yeah, I feel like 343 has really been learning their lesson on their mistakes and mistakes of other people in the industry.
Yeah.
So
I feel like a lot of people just watching Destiny, which is still a widely successful game, is kind of learning like, okay, don't do that.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. Let's let them announce and do things first,
Yeah.
and we'll just do the opposite of that.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the big problems too was, Luke Smith was the guy that sort of ignited this fire.
Yeah, because he apparently doesn't come off well in print.
No, even though he started off in journalism, like he worked for Kotaku, then he started at Bungie as their community manager. He was the one that did like the weekly updates and dealt with just the community. Since he somehow has progressed to game developer, like he did like the Vault of Glass, and I guess he's doing the new raid. But he's very arrogant and not cool. Like,
yeah, I mean, I saw an interview with him, and then I read the little snippets where he's just like, if you saw everything that we put in this game, you'd be throwing money at the screen.
Yeah,
like,
and like he used to do like their Bungie podcast and stuff like that, and he seemed fine. But once I met him in person, I was like really excited to meet him, and he was just a huge stick to me.
yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Probably doesn't care about the people at all.
right. So yeah, and so also then tomorrow after this episode comes out, July 7th is Bungie Day, and they always have something planned. They give away free stuff. For Halo 3, they gave up like a new map for free and some other stuff. It's just a Red Bull like can in the game.
Yeah,
you can't do anything with it, but
you can carry it.
Yeah,
you can shake it.
You can't hold a weapon though while you're carrying it.
No,
Yeah.
it's a first-person view of you holding a can. And
yeah, you can
with
shake it up and spray it on people.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it turns them orange for a little bit.
Yeah,
and it dilutes.
Let's see, what else do I got in news? What's it called? Allison Road? Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's the PT clone.
So supposedly, yeah, it's the spiritual successor to PT, the playable trailer, the Silent Hills game that got canceled that we've talked about a couple times here.
Yep.
But before I saw, so they released a 14-minute demo of the game.
Yeah.
But they also said none of that stuff's going to be in the game, and none of the even environments, just a placeholder. So before I saw that though, I was like, okay, there's one of 3 things that happened here for this to be, the successor to PT. One, either it's somebody that worked on the original game and has been doing this for a long time.
Yep.
2, it's somebody that just took an already pre-made Unreal Engine 4 level and just added bad sound effects to it.
Possible.
Or this was a game that they already wanted to have in development, a horror game that they just been like, oh, it's kind of like that game. That game got canceled. Let's piggyback on their promotion and pretend like this has something to do with that.
Well, I mean, PT was out a while ago.
Right.
So, you figure if they were making a game from that,
yeah,
it's been, long enough time that, it's reasonable to believe that, this has been in the works.
Right. But I don't know if you watched the video.
No, I just heard about it and it's like PT. But it's a game.
Yeah. Well, I really just think they just took, because Unreal Engine 4 has all those tech demos now, where they're just it's basically just takes place in a very basic house, very small basic house, and the guy's walking around the whole time, and then at the last 10 seconds, something horror happens.
Yeah.
And all the sound effects and the dialogue are very cheap and bad and were just thrown in there. So I think somebody just slapped this together very recently. And the fact that even the disclaimer is like, this is not the location of the game, this is not events in the game, means that they're just trying to get people excited for it, to get it funded so they can start working on it now.
Yeah.
But because they use that cool Unreal Engine 4 tech demo house, like, it looks like photorealistic, it looks pretty cool. I don't like that. I mean, a lot of games have this problem, but like the field of view, it's like it looks great if you're looking at something that looks photorealistic, but as soon as you start turning your head, all the things on the side of the screen are warped.
Blur.
Yeah. So.
And not like the awesome racing game Blur.
No.
It actually.
Yeah. But if this does ever come out and is halfway decent, it should be fun. I mean, I like.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be anything like PT. I really don't.
I will have to, like, I don't know, you watched the video.
Yeah.
Is there any hint of what gameplay is going to be, or is it literally just a walking simulator?
It's so you walk over, you can like pick something up. When you pick it up, it goes like you don't see your hands, you don't see anything on the screen. It just is like, then all of a sudden there's like a bottle floating in the screen. You can go like rotate it 360 and then put it back down. And,
so it's like any, it's like Skyrim and Fallout where you can just pick up any item and you can be like, cool, ashtray, and then you just throw it.
But at least in those games, you can see your hands and you see a gun and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There doesn't appear to be any sort of shooting or anything, which I'm pretty sure the Silent Hill game would have had some sort of fighting mechanic, even if it's just melee or something like that. But this was like, you walk around the house, like you wake up and he's like, oh, my head hurts, let me go get some aspirin, and then you go try to find the aspirin, and it's like, oh, I need some water, and you go get some water. And it's like, oh, you turned on the radio, and then like you go outside and somebody turned the radio off, so you go back inside, and you're like, oh. And like I said, it's 13 and a half minutes, and only the last maybe 10-15 seconds does something actually happen. So most of it is just like, hey, look, let's walk around this house that's not in the game.
Yeah, I mean, because like, first of all, like you said, they state all this stuff that's not in the game, but it's like, if this comes out and it's literally just a horror house simulator, like, walk and enjoy the scariness, but there's not much to actual play.
Yeah.
It's like, cool. Like, I'll just YouTube this.
Yeah. They said, like, oh, there's, like, an inventory system that didn't make the demo and stuff, but it's like...
I'm sure they said they're going to, like, you also get a BFG, and Duke Nukem comes in, and he kicks somebody, and it's great, but... Because that's, like, PT everyone was super excited for, but literally PT was just a walking simulator.
Yeah.
That wasn't going to be the game either.
No. But that had, Norman Reedus. It had the atmosphere.
Had actual, like, good production values.
Yeah.
That's what made it great. But at the same time, like, everyone, like, right after it happened and they took it down, people were selling PlayStations
that
on
had it
eBay
downloaded.
that had it downloaded and installed because, like, you'll never get to play this game. Just like, it was a playable trailer, which means that it's not a game.
Right.
It's like a choose-your-own-adventure book.
Right. Well, I think people still would have liked that.
People were fine with it, but I mean, like, I don't know if it's like a genre that I need multiple games of.
Right. And, the thing we had talked about a while ago was that there was the rumor that Xbox had bought it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's almost safe to say that's not true. Because they would have announced something at E3. You think that if they had it, even if they didn't have anything to show, that they at least would have announced it.
Yeah.
Just to sort of be like, because I think that would have been a huge bullet point for them.
Yeah, I mean, if they would have had, even if they would have just been like, hey, we picked it up, and they would have, like, like the PT trailer is coming to Xbox Live, and then we're going to have a game afterwards kind of situation. But yeah, no announcement, no nothing. I think
that doesn't mean they're not holding on to it until they have something to show, but you think that they, like, E3 is all about just promotion and hype. They would have said something there.
Yeah.
But Gamescom is coming up. There was a couple games they held back, like, Crackdown, Quantum Leap, and something else got pushed.
Quantum Break.
I'm sorry,
Quantum
Break.
Leap would be
that would have been
great
amazing.
Game. I'll play that.
Yeah.
Just give me Scott Bakula in full 3D.
So, like I said, it's not 100%, but it seems like
unlikely.
unlikely.
I mean, I agree. Like, E3 is your big one.
Yeah.
People already knew about Crackdown and they already knew about Quantum, so like holding those back doesn't really mean anything. E3 is the one where you're just like, nobody knew about this. Boom, here it is.
Right.
Like if they save it, I mean, I guess they can save it for whatever press conference they feel that they might be weak for, and then they just be like, oh, by the way, we have this. But I feel like that's just a long time to save a secret.
Right. Well, I think if they're smart, they would wait until they had actual gameplay from the game to show, something new or some footage to show, but that means they would have to wait a long time, and the video game industry is not like that at all.
No.
They're like, here's an E3 demo of something that's not going to look anything like the game.
True that. True that.
So a news story that I forgot to talk about. So the news finally broke that David Cross and Brian Posehn went and wrote lines for Destiny that they ended up not using. I'm pretty sure I broke that story like 4 months ago, but finally the mass media is catching up.
Stupid talking
Another
heads.
proof that they listen to this podcast and get all their information from This Isn't Fun Anymore podcast. So there you go. I'm really upset that that story has finally been out there.
I'm really upset that it's
like I said,
true. Because now you just have more power.
Yes. It's kind of all of the news-ish I have. I tried out the Xbox 360 compatibility on the Xbox One. It works great. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's cool. It's interesting. It's weird to once you go into that mode.
It's like playing on a 360.
It's like you totally forget you're not on a 360. Because like all the notifications come up, like the little like, hey, one friend signed on or something like that, or you can pull up the guide, look at achievements or get other stuff. So right now the games are pretty limited because it's still in the preview, but you can pre-order you can pre-order Fallout 4 right now, like on the dashboard, and if you do, they will send you a code for Fallout 3.
Yep.
So that means that.
You
even
can
though
get
that
Fallout
game
3 early,
right? So technically,
so you
that's
can
not
play
one of
through
the
it.
games yet. But if you pre-order Fallout 4, you can get it now.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for more games to be up there.
I think that's what they needed to do with that is give you Fallout 3 real quick, so then people could that would just help their hype train.
Yeah,
it's like play Fallout 3 now, whatever. Even if you're only going to put in a couple hours. Like get familiar with the controls or whatever. Or if
and it's good for exactly. If you've never played it, you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to start with Fallout 4. You can be like, here, start with Fallout 3. You really don't need to go back any further than that at this point.
Yeah,
because Fallout 3 is great, and you can't go back.
And 2 and 1 aren't first person.
Right.
They're like point and click Diablo / XCOM style games. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go back to 3 and you're just like, wow, I really enjoy this, and I've beaten Fallout 3 really close to Fallout 4 coming out, or gotten whatever, they don't overlap that much. If they would have done, you get Fallout 3 right when Fallout 4 comes out, no one would have played 3.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it's the right way to do it. It's just, as long as the compatibility's there right when they give you Fallout 3, and it's not just like, hey, we're not doing more compatibility until next month, and then it's like, well, now I only have a month before Fallout 4.
And I don't think any of the approved games are like this yet, but you can play with people on the 360. Like if you're on the Xbox One, you can play multiplayer and do all that stuff. So I've done messaging and chatting just to see how it works, and that all works fine. But I would be interested to see if there's any sort of
hang up.
If
Saints Row 2 pops on and just be like,
can't wait to play Saints Row with you on my Xbox One.
I texted you one day about doing Saints Row 2.
Did not get it because I would have played. I'm not getting your text.
Okay. Well, I'll try hitting your phone with a hammer. We'll see if that fixes things.
That usually fixes it.
I don't think I have any news.
Yeah, that's all my official news, I guess. And the rest are just, we've sort of talked about it a little bit, but just stuff I've been playing. Yeah. So, I don't know if you want to go on. You want to talk about Turok for half an hour? Or?
Yeah, I could talk about it.
Well, and you played some Splinter Cell Double Agent. Just the multiplayer, just so you haven't actually
and not even
you just sit there.
Not even the
challenges.
Okay. Literally just win as a spy, win as a merc, play this level. Yeah. So there's nothing to talk about there.
Because you're just boosting with somebody, right? You're not actually even
not even doing anything fun.
Yeah.
Not even close to fun. I'm excited to start the challenges because I really enjoyed when I helped you do some of the challenges.
Right.
So I'll be set and enjoy that. But this where it's just like, hey, come to the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Let me shoot you in the face.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot you, and then I'm going to grenade you, and then I'm going to melee you.
Yeah.
And rinse and repeat. First of all, I will say the only thing I will comment, those load times are atrocious.
Yep, and they happen so much.
The fact that even not boosting, if like load into a level takes a while. Then like before you have control, like they're kind of like giving you like, here's how this game mode plays load.
Yeah.
Just like, oh my god, it's like,
and then you get that little projector screen while it's still loading a little bit more of the map.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this is tough.
Yeah, it definitely shows its age. Like when I went back, I guess a year and a half ago to play it, when you play as a spy, you don't notice it. You're like, oh, this is pretty good. The movement's good. You know, it feels like maybe this could be a game that came out recently. But then if you play as the Merc, you're like, oh my god, this is like Nintendo 64 type like movement and graphics, and like, yeah, it's pretty rough to play as a Merc.
Yeah. So that's all my review on that.
Yeah.
Turok, I started single player.
How does it compare to the multiplayer?
Oh, the story is gripping. You play as young John Turok.
Yeah. Space Marine, not Native American.
Space Marine, slightly tan, which symbolizes Native American.
Okay.
You're supposed to be Native American because they keep referencing.
Oh, really?
You know, like when you find a bow, there's like, of course you know how to use a bow, chief, and you know, shit like that. The level, I mean, I don't really need to trash this game. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
The story is awful.
Can't wait to keep playing it.
The level design is terrible because it's like they have three areas. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They have an indoor base looking area. They have the woods, and then they have an underground. That's it. Like every level just cycles those.
Right. And they kind of went crazy with like the foliage and stuff, where it's like everything looks just like they put like 8,000 palm leaves on the walls and on the ground.
They never explain why there's dinosaurs or giant scorpions. Like, I guess we're just supposed to believe, like, hey, this is a foreign planet, anything's
that has
possible.
Dinosaurs on it?
Yeah, but like, you start off the game and like, you know, your ship crashes, whatever, and you're walking through this jungle with this other guy.
Yeah.
And like you're watching dinosaurs comes out and he's just like, whoa, raptors. And like that's like
that's
you're not
all
more
there is.
concerned, you know, like, oh, there's a T-Rex that just ate our buddy. No one's just like, why is there a fucking dinosaur? It's just like, hey, stay back. Like, cool, okay, I guess we're all okay with these dinosaurs or giant scorpions.
Yeah.
And the AI, the bad guys, like most shooters, have, like, bad guys do different things.
Yeah,
like,
not just the one thing.
You have, you know, this guy, he's a shield guy, and, you know, you can't attack him head on. Like, you need to develop different strategies for different guys.
Yeah.
In normal, which I'm playing normal, haven't started hardcore, all dinosaurs can be killed with a knife in one hit.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. Just switch. If I see a bunch of dinosaurs, besides like the T-Rex, switch to a knife. Wait for the button prompt.
Yeah.
You're invincible during the button prompt. You kill the dinosaur in one hit. Don't waste any ammo. Easy. Every bad guy, like a guy with a gun, approaches you the same way. They're all just like charge you with whatever weapon they have up. Yeah. Like a shotgun guy will start shooting you from 40 yards back.
Right. There's a guy over here just running a straight line at your face, which sometimes will actually be effective, but it's not very interesting or fun.
So it's pretty awful. Normally I can find enjoyment in any game, no matter how crappy. Yeah. Like even Brave, Warrior's Tale, I can be like, yeah, alright. I'm okay with this. It's a kid's game.
It's a solid 2 out of 5.
I can see why a child might find enjoyment in this.
Yeah.
Turok's a little bit rougher.
Yeah.
So it's Turok.
Is that all you've really been playing?
No, I've got a computer game.
All right. Well, I guess I'll jump into my thing then.
Sure.
My semi-recent thing. This happened a couple weeks ago now, but I played the Gears beta.
Yep.
That was announced and started the day of E3, the first day of E3. So each day they added a new like map and new rules. And, you know, it was just testing out those 2 new game types, the Deathmatch and the King of the Hill, which weren't in the original game.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of other tweaks they put in from some of the other games, some of which were good, some of which are bad. one of the better things was you can mark enemies now. If you look at them and click the stick, you can do that, which only happened in Gears 3. So that's good. The thing I don't like in any of the games they added is if the characters are farther away from you, I don't know, there's like a little circle around you, then they are highlighted in whatever team color they are.
Okay.
So let's say you're playing as, the humans, you guys are all going to be blue. So if they're like 10 or 15 feet away from you, they go from their normal nice character model to just be glowing blue.
Okay.
And like I don't know, for me, especially the first Gears of War was all about hide and seek, right? It was round based. It was just very slow pace. Like you had one death per round. You had to wait. So it's like everybody just went on the map, try to get the power weapons or whatever, and just sort of hid to try to fight each other. But now because you're glowing, you could be 100 yards away from the guy on the other side of the map, and he can see you because you're glowing red. Is kind of annoying. Like
so
it takes away that aspect of it.
It's not like line of sight. It's literally just like
no, it is like you can't see him through a wall or anything.
Oh, okay.
But like let's say you're like I said on the other side of the map. Some of these maps are pretty big and sprawling. It's like he could be like way over there. And I'm going to see him because he's far away from me, which makes less sense than, if he's 5 feet away from me, I'm not going to be able to see that he's different than my team. So it's just kind of confusing, too, because, I don't know, when you see a guy next to you, you assume that he's your teammate then, because otherwise you would have seen him glow up into that point, which is kind of annoying. Also, they were testing things like turning off active reloads. So I know you've played the game a little bit. I don't know how much you've played, but one of the staples of Gears of War is if you reload before your clip is done, you have this little slider that goes atop the screen. And if you click it directly on this little thin line, you get a bonus to damage. And so that was always a big part of Gears of War, especially the first game. So one of the things they were testing in the beta was most of the days active reloads were off, which was... I know they're testing it because it's different, but it also makes it not feel like Gears, especially Gears 1. Like, you have, different game modes where you respawn and no active reloads. It's stopping. It's like not... it's no longer Gears of War 1.
You're just making a shooter.
You're kind of mashing in, all the series together, but we don't, people don't want that. Like, remake 1.
Yeah.
Don't, just make that all 3. Sure, you can make some improvements like, I'm pretty sure in Gears 1, if you read the chainsaw and you got shot, you would still stay in the animation, so you basically could chase somebody down like you were, like in a horror movie. But now if you, get shot in the chest where you have the chainsaw up, it sort of stuns you for a second, so you can't just slowly run at somebody with your chainsaw out. So that was a good improvement, I guess.
It's disappointing.
Right. But yeah, all the maps, for the most part, were pretty good. The game types, like I said, not as fun. And it just seemed like the explosions were not where they were before. Like, the animations was not great. Like, there'd be like a little, puff of smoke / fire thing. But like the boom shot, if you didn't hit somebody in the chest, it didn't kill them. Like, you couldn't shoot the ground and have the explosion kill them like you could before. Same with grenades. If they weren't just standing on top of them, you wouldn't kill them. And they said they're tweaking that stuff, right? Another thing they said they've added is you can revive from cover now, which you couldn't do before. And I will say they did improve the smoke grenades, sort of, because in Gears 1, if you threw a smoke grenade at somebody, once it exploded, it stunned them for a second. So people would just use it to stun some, everyone's running for the sniper, I'm going to throw a stun grenade in there. And basically they're just stuck in that animation, you can go shoot them in the chest. So now it doesn't do that, so that's good. I'm still excited to play this game. I'm looking forward to the single player now more than the multiplayer. But for me, Gears of War has always been about
seriously 1.0.
Yeah, no, is like execution. The execution game type, which is like if you down somebody, you have to go over and kill them on top of them. You can't shoot them from across the map, because if you play Warzone, which is the other game type in it, even though it was round based, you can just use your machine gun and down somebody from across the map and then shoot them one more time and they died. This is okay, you have to plan out even if you want to lancer them from across the map, you then have to run up real quick because they were able to revive themselves after 5 seconds. They could stand up again. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's like it's different. Like the Gears of War was fun to me because it was different. First, I hadn't really played any cover-based shooters, and there weren't really many out there, like AAA titles at least. Now, after that, like Evergame did it for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was about being cover-based, about being round-based, and about things like have to execute people going down, but not be able to revive teammates, things like that. And in the beta, at least, they've gotten rid of all those things. So if it's just a normal, you can respawn a million times. You can respawn all over. Another problem they had too was because the game was not designed for respawns within a match. A lot of times the respawns were just awful. Like you'd respawn with the other team, or they'd respawn behind you. Like you shoot a guy, and 2 seconds later he'd spawn behind you. Just because,
good.
Right?
Because they didn't kill that guy right away.
Right, because before the maps were designed, like okay, each corner of the map you respawn at the beginning of the round, then they don't have to worry about respawns because there weren't any.
Yeah, there's no like rotating respawn point.
And another, like in the 2 game modes in what was it, in deathmatch, like after the first kill, the spawns would switch, and they would say on the screens spawn swapped. So okay, there's going to be a bunch of guys behind you in a second. But in like King of the Hill and stuff, it didn't say when that was happening, so you never knew when people were going to start showing up behind you. And to switch after 1 kill is not enough. Like the whole idea is you kind of set up on your side and wait for people to attack. You stay behind your wall, you stay behind your little thing, and let them come at you, and you poke your head out. But if like in 10 seconds people are going to start spawning behind me, it's just like. It's a different game. It's not Gears of War 1.
Yeah, well, they probably, it sounds like they're taking rid of all of that wait and see kind of thing to just make it, rush kills.
Right. They're trying to get the Call of Duty guys. Yeah.
Be fast, kill, keep on the move. There's no real, set up shop here and be smart about what you're doing.
Which is fine for other games, but the reason I liked Gears was because it wasn't that. It wasn't like every other game, every other shooter that's out there.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem, though, when they revisit games, we'll start to run into this problem when they do, more remakes. Like, obviously, we talked about a little bit with, Final Fantasy VII. They do remake. It's just, you're going to want to put in things that have happened since then, but at the same time, then you're removing the original vision. So, you want to modernize Gears of War, great, because there's been other Gears of War games, and you want to take their multiplayer stuff, or you want to take Halo or Call of Duty. At the same time, then that's not Gears. It's just if you want to get rid of turn-based battles in Final Fantasy VII and make them more like Final Fantasy 13, just great, that's more modern, but you're changing what people liked about the game.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, I'm sure those other game modes are going to be in the final release.
Yeah, that'll probably be more in maybe this classic.
Right, and hopefully I won't have to play these other game types just for the achievements. But the things I just hate. As soon as it happened, I think Gears 2 was the first one to do it. But the highlighting characters thing just bothers me so much because so much of the game for me was hiding. I want to hide in a corner. I know that if I hide this right way, there's going to be a shadow over me, so this guy will not be able to see me until he walks by me. Yeah. Just things like that. But in that game, you couldn't do it. They just, I don't know. Also, they kind of ruined the lighting in some of the maps, but that's another thing.
Yeah. It's another thing that just comes with upping graphics and being we need to put more lights here so that we can show off all of our cool textures. Right.
We don't want as long as they just keep the mansion multiplayer level. It's at night in the rain.
It's gonna be
during
daytime.
A storm. It's gonna be day. Well, that's what they did when they remade it in the Gears 2 or 3. They made it in the day. Everything was sunny and in the daytime, so you could see how good the graphics were. It's I don't care.
They have to show you the graphics. Everyone only cares about the graphics.
Yep.
Look how sweet this is. I can look out the window and there's a bird taking a poop.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just like real life.
Yep, all the time.
Hold for applause.
Hold for applause. Thank you. Jesus.
Wow.
I had to work for that.
I know,
one.
tough room.
I have 2 more games to talk about.
Okay.
But they're both kind of short. How many games you got? One more? 8?
1.5 more.
I have one game. It's called You Must Build a Boat. It's on the Computer Dora. It's also available for mobile phones.
Is it a dating sim?
No. It's Must Build a Boat? Yes.
Yeah.
It is a match 3 game.
Oh, okay.
So it's your Bejeweled kind of situation. However, let me see how I explain it. They're quests, if that makes sense, and then they're the tiles that you match relate to something that's happening on the screen. So the whole point is like you're running through a dungeon, and there are things that happen to you while you're running through a dungeon. Like you'll either come up against a creature, or you'll come up against a treasure chest, or you'll come up against, you know, a box or whatever it is. And like, so when you're fighting a creature, you want to try and match either like your sword or your magic, because that does damage. And then like slowly the screen's just kind of catching up to you, and if you fall off the screen, then like that runs over. If you come up to a treasure chest, you want to match like a key to unlock it, and so forth and so forth. And basically like while you're playing, there's always kind of this overarching goal where you're just like, you know, I gotta defeat 10 monsters or something like that, or I gotta last for 90 seconds. And so it's basically like you can not focus on the screen up ahead, but then like if you don't know what you're trying to match, you might be like, man, I have a lot of keys on my board, and you're just matching keys.
I'm sure the first couple levels it doesn't matter. Yeah, but eventually you have to strategize.
But it's addicting, and it's just kind of quick because like you're always gaining something. Like there's no like real loss, because like, so you do all this stuff and then you go back to your boat, which is kind of your hub.
Yeah.
And there's like, you can upgrade things. Like when you match a sword tile, now you're going to do more damage. When you match keys, now you're going to like, locks have varying levels of difficulty. So it's like, oh, now I need less keys to open this kind of chest. There's also like a shield which prevents you from taking damage. Anyway, so like while you're playing, you're getting like gold and stuff that you can upgrade. So even if you can never like, I struggled with one. It was like beat 10 enemies in a run, because I'd always get like, you know, 8 or something like that, and then I'd die. And so eventually you just like, you keep getting all this gold, and then you can eventually upgrade where you're just like, now my sword's killing people in like 2 matches.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really entertaining. It's stupid and simple, but is it
addicting?
It's very addicting, because like it's always just like the runs only last, you know, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, whatever it is. So it's just like in 2 minutes you're doing great. So it's always just like, oh, I can do one more. I can do one more. And the next thing you know, you're just like, oh, okay, I cleared out that area. Like it's divided into like areas where it's just like each area maybe has 10 quests. You can only take on 2 quests at a time. Once you clear out all the quests, you go to like just a new background and new enemies and kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, these enemies are green and they are resistant to magic, so use your sword more. These enemies are blue and they're weak to fire, so use your magic, or whatever. You know, like they give you those little things, but it doesn't matter because you're just trying to match as fast as possible anyway, because it's all just, you know, timed. That like I'm not just like, well, I can only match staffs here, so it's like, who cares? It is $5, I think, on Steam. I don't know what it is on mobile phones, but like
probably around that. Maybe a
I mean,
$2 cheaper. It's
fun. I mean, like,
it seems like that's a game that you play on your phone, not that you would sit down at a computer to play.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably designed for mobile in mind, and then just ported to the PC. Is there any paywalls or anything? No, once you buy, that's it. Okay. There's no like, hey, buy more gold. Yeah, I mean, since it's not free to play, like you still have to pay money. Like that's, you know, that's your thing. So it's never like buy more gold or like, I see you're struggling, would you like to buy a spell book or something like that. It's literally just like, oh, keep playing, you'll get gold and you'll upgrade, or maybe you'll get a good run, or maybe the board will be different, because it's all like random, the board is. And so it's like, maybe I just got a shitty board that didn't have a lot of swords, so when I do another run, maybe it's going to have more swords that I can match. Yeah. And it's kind of like just how you play is, like, obviously you're matching, you know, 3, like a Bejeweled thing, but what you're doing is you're either taking a row or your column, and you're either moving it, you can just move the pieces in that column, like left to right. So it's not like you can kind of just switch spots, so you kind of have to just like keep lining things up, and then things fall into place, and it's entertaining. Yeah. That's all I will say. Well, to jump on that, I guess, I did play the Fallout mobile companion game called Shelter. I wanted to do that, but they don't have it for Android. Yeah. It's pretty good. Just going into the game, once you launch it and stuff, it does the little slides, the little Fallout slides, all the sound effects and all that stuff is always fun. Yeah. But what you do is you're basically just building a vault. So it's kind of like a tiny tower, or even a Sims, like a pared down Sims, where it's like, okay, you build
build this room, and then you got to build that room. Okay, now they need water treatment plant, or you need electricity, or you got to build more bunk beds, something like that. And you just kind of manage all your people. It starts off where people just show up from the wasteland, and you can put them in your vault. But then after that, you can pair people together, and they can have kids. And once they all have skills, right? You have your special as in the game, so you got your strength, your perception, your intelligence, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then that makes it a better fit for each job.
Yeah.
And then you have to wait 2 minutes, and then they produce more electricity. Then you got to tap the little electricity thing to do it. But graphically, it's really fun. The characters are 2D, and they look like the cartoonish sort of Pip-Boy sort of guy.
Yeah.
But the world is kind of 3D, so it's interesting to sort of move around, like when you swipe around and move up and down, and the sort of 3D-ness of the vaults sort of change. But it's fun, and it has a lot of the Fallout in it, which is good. And you have challenges and stuff, make 600 things of food today, and then you get more caps is the money. Then you can build more stuff. But my problem with playing with it is it's not like one of those Candy Crush, those match 3 games where it's a lot of sitting around and waiting. It's like, okay, I gotta wait 2 minutes before I can touch the screen again. I'm just sitting there watching this thing happen. Sure, I can micromanage some things, but for the most part, it's sit and wait.
Yeah.
If you don't have enough money to build something, or if you don't have enough resources, you just kind of gotta wait. One good thing is that you can rush in action. It has a higher percentage of something going wrong, but if you are successful, not only do you get resources faster, but you also get bonuses. So it's fun to sort of risk reward of that. Also, you can do things like, you can buy them clothes that upgrade things, or you can give them weapons, because sometimes raiders attack the vault. That's kind of fun. When there's these little disaster events, sometimes things will catch on fire. I've had some fires before, or people attacking the vault, or you can send out people into the wasteland to scavenge for stuff. And if you do that, it's actually really interesting. It gives you a text-based log of every couple seconds of what's happening. They found a rad scorpion. Oh, they found a shoe, or just all this stuff, and you can just go and watch it. And that's kind of interesting. And then when they come back, they have a lot of XP and new gear or something. But it's funny, this one guy. So I had it before where I just had everybody working for the most part. And you also have the the barracks, the housing units. But if they're in there, they're not working. And so I had 2 leftover people, and it was a guy and a girl, and they ended up having a baby. It's funny because they talk for a long time. You can zoom in and you can see what they're saying to each other, and they get more and more flirtatious, and then they run off into the back room, and then she comes back and she's pregnant.
That's how it happens.
Well, there's little smiley faces on the screen pop up, they would be hearts, and then so I found that was a much easier way to get people in the vault rather than trying to lure them in from the wasteland. So I just started doing that. Then I had this one dapper gentleman who had a 3-piece suit, a monocle, and a top hat, and he had a 9 out of 10 charisma, which made it easier for him to flirt with girls. So I would just have this rotating door of women. I would take them out of their job, put them in the barracks with him until he, it would take 2 or 3 minutes for him to get them pregnant.
Yeah, wow.
Which was way faster than any other method. Another thing you can do is I built a radio station, and you can send your radio signal out. It makes everybody inside happy, but also will lure people from outside. Just like in the games, you can randomly find stations. Sometimes you can find vaults or things like that. But that was taking forever. It takes 2 hours to do a radio show, and then you'll get 1 or 2 guys tops. But this way, I was making new babies every 2 to 3 minutes. And so another thing I found out...
How long does it take for the babies to grow into functioning people?
Well, that's it. First they have to be born, and then when they're kids, they just wander around the vaults. You can't assign them to jobs for a while. I haven't really timed it out because I haven't played enough.
Yeah.
But if they're kids and I go away for a couple hours, I'll come back, and now they can be placed in their jobs. But yeah, I didn't. It took me a while to realize too is that you can make pregnant women go back to work. So I would just put them in that room with him for a couple of minutes and then send them back. I had the slave labor camp. Yeah. I had a breeding system going and a slave labor. It was great. But they, there's other things you have to worry about too, like both their health and their radiation levels, because the radiation levels will slowly go up. So you have to build a laboratory to make RadAway, or build like I guess a doctor's office to get like stim packs and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot to do and a lot to manage.
Yeah, I mean, I saw like what I was seeing about the game is it seems pretty in depth. I mean, in terms of just like a little mobile game, and
right.
For the most part, it's free to play. Like I know you can buy lunch boxes, which kind of give you just like rare items.
Yeah, they're basically
like
card packs where you get random stuff, and that's fun. Yeah, and you complete challenges every day, and you get extra stuff too. And it's fun. Like after you get all the basic stuff, like things that you can build, then you start getting things like school rooms or like weight rooms, and you can then make everybody's skill go up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm going to send this guy to like the weight room for a while. Now his strength is better, so I can make him go work in the factory, and it produces more.
Eventually you can just build super people.
Yeah.
Everyone tens across the
board. I had like a system going too where it's like once the kids became adults, before I would put them into their job, I'd throw them into one of these training things and make them really good in one aspect. Then I would replace him with whoever was currently working in, like the water treatment plant. Then I'd put that guy in the training room to make him better. And it was just
got a cycle going.
Got a whole system going. The problem is the game started crashing for me, where either too much was happening or I just wouldn't be able to load the game. Then like an update came out, and it worked for another day or two, and now today it's not working again. So that kind of makes it difficult. Also, it seems like every time I leave the game, when I come back, I have to go through the whole process of loading the game and doing all that other stuff. So it's one of those games where it's like, oh, I'm supposed to do something for a couple minutes, then I put my phone away, and then it might like give me a notification like, hey,
Yeah, your plant's done.
Right. And then you go and come back, but because I have to go through like the long load screen every time, I feel like it's not actually doing anything while I'm not there.
Yeah, I mean, like I think for most of the stuff that I've read about that game, since I haven't been able to try it since I have Android, it's been relatively positive, but they do say that like time period is in between the sweet spots, because they're like, if it's a long time period to wait, you can just turn your phone on, or come back to it in a half hour, play twice a day kind of thing, and then like you're set. But like that 2 to 3 minute time period is just like, it's too long to just stare at your screen, but it's also not long enough where you can like go do something else and come back. Because like, okay, I'll go wash one dish and then I'm back.
Exactly.
Like, they need to either like almost make it instant, or almost like, as terrible as it is, it's like make you have to wait 10
a long
minutes.
time. Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, okay, 10 minutes, I can actually get something done.
Right.
Or feel like I'm getting something done.
And I haven't looked into it too much, but it doesn't seem like there's any connection to Fallout 4. Like these other companion games that I've been playing, whether it's like Evolve or like Mortal Kombat, is that you get something in the game, whether it's something big or small, but there's some sort of connection. Like, hey, play this, you'll get a new jumpsuit in Fallout 4 or something. I haven't seen any of that, so I think it's just a standalone fun thing to play. I think it's just
be like, hey, we wanted to put out a fun game.
Yeah, because everyone's doing it.
Yeah. Which, like, I'm more in favor. I'd rather not be forced to play a game because it's like, hey, you're going to start with more caps in Fallout 4, or it's, or at the same time, like, be punished for not playing it. Like, oh, if me and you both start Fallout 4 because you have this companion app, you're going to get a super awesome gun or be able to upgrade your stats, and I'm going to be kind of shitty and awful.
Yeah. Another thing, too, that we didn't talk about is, you heard that story about the guy that saved all the bottle caps?
That he was able to redeem them for a copy?
Yeah, so he saved all his bottle caps, I think, 7 years, right? I think it was like about 2,300 bottle caps he saved, which is basically one for every day that has gone by since the last game came out. And so his plan was he jokingly posted and be like, hey, is this enough to get the game? And now they said they would accept it. I'm sure it's like a one-time deal sort of thing.
No one else can just start chugging beers and
then
be like, hey, I also have 2,300 caps.
But also, if you do the math, obviously it's cheaper to just buy the game.
Yeah.
But he spent a lot of time and effort, and I thought that was pretty cool that he did that, and that they let him then get the game for free, basically.
They initially said no.
Well, because what are you supposed to do?
Yeah,
you can't.
But then
you can't go to a retailer and be like, "Here's bottle caps."
Oh wait, this would probably be bad if we no, you can't get the game for doing something unique. But then
right, they're just giving away one game.
Yeah,
so it's better publicity for them to do it.
And now people are going to do it with 4. Everyone's going to get 4 and then start saving bottle caps, and then 5's going to come out in 10 years, and they're going to be like, can we do it? Like, no.
So 2,300 is a lot of bottle caps, that's for sure. But
Yeah.
over 7 years, if that's what you were doing, you'd think you'd have a lot more. Because like I said, that's just one a day. But at some point, you're going to have friends over, you're going to have a party, people are going to know you're doing this. Be like, hey, if you have a party, can I just come over and take all your bottle caps? You'd think he would have, like, thousands.
Yeah, I mean, I don't...
I'm just saying.
Maybe, like, he was legit, like he was just keeping, like, I don't know, some weird calendar system that he had. Like,
right.
Another day has passed, you know,
Yeah.
and then doesn't care. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his... Yes, I agree. He should have more than 2,300. I don't know why we're discussing it. My other game, Kingdom Hearts. Maybe someone's heard of it.
The first one?
The first one for the PlayStation 2. First of all, can't play it on a PlayStation 3.
Nope. Or PlayStation 1 for that matter.
Or PlayStation 1. Had to dig out the PlayStation 2. Started it up. It was a game that Caitlin wanted me to start because I've never played any of them. I started it.
Yeah, that's all you're going to say?
It's... I mean, like, I've watched her play a little bit, so, like, I already knew what I was getting into. I knew that it wasn't turn-based. I knew that it was, like, you control one character and you can do combos and stuff like that and attack, but... I don't know, like,
I feel like you have something bad to say, but you don't want to say it.
I don't have something bad to say. I haven't played enough of it to really get a feeling on it. Like, I literally, like... I was like, I'll start Kingdom Hearts, and then we tried for a while trying to figure out why it wouldn't play on the PlayStation 3, because I've played PlayStation 1 games on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, there's backwards compatibility, but only a certain number of games.
Only certain games, yeah. So I was just like, why was I able to play Final Fantasy 4 on PlayStation 3 from the disc and not be able to play Kingdom Hearts when you think Kingdom Hearts is a big name game?
Yeah.
But whatever. So then I was like, one day I was just like, fine, I'll go downstairs, I'll get the PlayStation 2, I'll hook it up.
Yeah.
And I played through, like, essentially, like, the tutorial world, and then, like, watched whatever beginning of the story was, and then landed in, like, the new world, found a save point, and that was, whatever, an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, and I was just like, okay, that's a good stopping point, and I haven't picked it up again. Not that I don't want to, it's just more of, like, I have other things we should be doing, unpacking, and playing Turok.
Right, getting
always
achievements.
takes priority. But, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't hate it.
Yeah. But you don't love it either.
I mean, like, I'm a classic turn-based kind of guy. I would have loved it if I would have been able to control Donald and Goofy and then just select their attacks and magics.
Have, like, Pluto go attack someone's neck or something.
Yeah. Go rip out his throat.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. Caitlin, how do you feel about it?
Special guest just walked into the studio.
Yeah, I just got here. I love Kingdom Hearts, but my love of it is nothing to do with gameplay. Like, I just think Sora is an adorable little muppet of a human being with giant feet. And obviously I'm a big old Disney nerd, so, like, that's a big plus for me. Plus, I like costume changes, so I get excited when you're in a new world and, like, you look like old-timey Mickey Mouse or you're a mer person now. Like, it makes no sense, but I'm into it. So, that's how I feel. Plus, they have all the Final Fantasy characters, but, like, in bizarre, new...
They're children.
Yeah.
Well, it's all the Final
Fantasy
Muppet
babies.
But it's children.
Well, like... The girls from Final Fantasy X-2 are in there, but they're like fairies.
Yeah.
Cloud's there, but for some reason his sword is wrapped in band-aids. Like, why not? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Like in the tutorial level, there's characters from 10, and they're literally just like children.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, how do we make this kid-friendly?
Yeah.
And like, I'm also a big voice actor nerd, so I'm excited that they have all the original voices and stuff. So it's a lot of things that are completely unrelated to playing a game that makes me love Kingdom Hearts.
Speaking of which, you know, it's the 60th anniversary of Disneyland, and they added things to Haunted Mansion, Peter Pan, and Matterhorn.
Really quick, we have to go to Disney. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Unrelated, you guys gave me a mic and now I'm going to talk.
Yeah.
You idiots. My dumb dating sims, I'm still playing them because I'm a child or a teenage girl, I guess. But I'm really excited they have a new one coming out, and they said that they listened to feedback from the fans and they want like a greater variety. So I think there's some actual brown people in the upcoming game.
Not
Take
black.
it
They're not
away.
black. They're just brown.
They're brown.
Yeah.
People are afraid to go full black.
They're tan.
Let's be real.
Right.
And I think you might even be able to romance a girl. I'm pretty excited. I'm
Yeah.
excited to mix it up. I'm gonna play a lot of that. So I'm gonna be broke because they charge you per story.
Oh,
I'm
really?
gonna have to take all of those for a
Yeah.
ride.
Do they make
so.
you pay real money to go on dates with people?
It's
Like the check was $75.
It's not quite that much.
Yeah.
It's not quite that much, but it's like $5 to play through a story.
Yeah.
But I mean, you get a few solid hours of entertainment out of it. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Anything else you're playing?
I'm playing a lot of Fire Emblem. Still forcing people to get together and make babies
Yep.
at my will. That's what I realized is if you give me the choice to force people to get together and
gonna do it.
possibly produce children, that's the common theme in all my favorite games. Fire Emblem, Harvest Moon, Mass
Sims.
Effect, The
Yeah.
Sims, anything where I can make couples. I'm in. I like it.
I'm guessing Romance Central isn't available anymore, right? It was just that one day.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But what's important is Bodhi loves me now.
Yeah.
He loves
You have
me
proof
back.
now. Yeah. He finally reciprocated.
I might have had to fudge some answers to get it, but that's not important right now.
Yeah.
Does the audience know of my love for Bodhi, or is this out of
I
left
don't
field?
think
Yeah.
so.
I don't think we have an audience.
Yeah.
I don't think your core audience gives a poop about Dance Central. But in
I
case
mean,
anyone,
I do, and I'm 50% of the audience.
in case anyone out there actually cares, there's a character in Dance Central named Bodhi who's a dumbass jock, and I just love him so much.
Would you say Bodhi is the Magic Mike of
He is.
Dance Central?
If I could call him anything, he is the Magic Mike.
I think let's just put it into terms that our audience would understand. It's Magic Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might have to cut this episode short because we're on our way to go see Magic Mike XXL. Yeah.
There's 3 X's, right? It's a porn?
I'm guessing.
No, that's
They got to
that's
save
fine.
something for the third movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
that's
get ahead of
triple
yourself.
X.
Yeah.
That is Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Donald Glover's in this one, so.
Who else is in it? Twitch from So You Think
Yeah.
You Could Dance, which again, your audience does not care.
I'm going to take
Right.
the mic away from you.
Do that. It's your fault for giving it to me.
Yep.
I mean, if you're just going to talk dancing.
Bye forever.
Chris, what else are you playing? I know you had one more game.
Yeah, I have one more game. I don't know if we have time for it now.
What time is it? How
Shut
long?
up, everyone.
Well, no, we're fine. So I played Tales from the Borderland, episode 3. Fist pump. Just more of the same greatness. It's a lot of fun. This is probably the best episode.
This is the episode.
This
If I was to pick a random episode to start, it'd be
no,
3.
I mean you really can't. But it took like the first one was like a standalone, action heavy one, and then the second one was more smaller, more character driven, and this has like the best of both of those put together. So there was great action moments, there was good story, there was great character background. Like they added a couple new characters, all of which were very welcome characters. They also somehow were able to fully develop them as characters and get into their backstories at the same time. Even now, there's just so many characters now in this in your little group. Plus, all the people that you meet keep coming back. Like whether it was like a random guy you met in the first episode, now he's back in this episode as like an important character. And it's there, like I said, there was good action and there was good variety in the gameplay. Like there was all the fun stuff that happened before, but like whether it's like there was like a hacking mini game, there was a part where it was basically like missile baseball because they were shooting missiles at you and you had to use the loader bot and a giant like tree that you pulled out of the ground to like hit the missiles back at them. Or you know, like the one girl has that Derringer that last episode. Well, I told you that you had like one shot, you had to decide when to get it. And then in the second episode, they added elemental to it, so you had like fire, electricity, or poison, and you had to choose. Then you still only had one bullet, but you had to choose which one you're going to use. Now, they like basically give you another upgrade and a whole shit ton of bullets. They give you a giant thing of bullets. They're like, here, you can shoot whatever you want, whenever you want now. And so
probably
now,
because they people were just like, I want to fire the gun.
well, because exactly.
Give me
And
more
so
bullets.
now that gunplay mechanic is in the game more. Also, like the choices that you had felt satisfying, whether or not they were just the illusion of choices. Like always, they felt like, oh, that mattered. But not only did that matter, but I'm glad I picked that. Even if I go back and pick something else, I'm glad, like, you know, like I said, it's like satisfying. Like the conclusion to whatever my choice was satisfying.
Yeah.
Plus they give you now like strategic choices. Like it's always just been either dialogue or like, hey, you know, big, huge fork in the road choices. And then like with Wolf Among Us, they added this sort of like choice, like, hey, where am I going to go investigate? Am I going to go here first, or am I going to go there? And that they sort of have that, but it's more like, hey, you're in a fight. Do I try to take out the wheels of this vehicle, or do I go stab this other guy? So they have choices within the actual like real time gameplay, which was a lot of fun too. And like you felt like, hey, like maybe it's not the best choice, but for me this is what makes sense in the moment, and this still gets me to where I want to go. But I felt like I had control over, you know, what is essentially just a, you know, cutscene with QuickTime events.
Yeah.
Also, there was a moment where there's sort of like a fake QuickTime event where like it wanted you to dodge out of the way of the guy trying to shoot you, and then he just laughs at you. He thinks that like you're not going to be able to roll out of the way of the bullet. All I have to do is move my hand slightly to the left, and now I'm still aimed at your face. So that just playing with the whole mechanics was fun. Also, they sort of introduced a romance that wasn't really there before, but it was still, I'm still glad that they did it. Like at this whole time I've been trying to force this other romance. They haven't really given me the options for. But then all of a sudden this other romance came up, and it was like very awkward, but like in a fun way. So much so that I picked something and he said it kind of weird, and the girl was like, "What?" And then up in the corner where it does the like, "Hey, they will remember that," it says, "I hope she won't remember that." Things like that. And then just the fun awkwardness of forcing them to sort of be together but not really wanting to, but sort of like liking each other and sort of being weird. And like you had like choices like, oh, you could pick a flower and you could like give it to the girl, or you could like hold on to it. And like all of those things resulted in funny consequences. Also, voice acting is great, like always. Patrick Warburton came back for a time. They introduced a couple new characters. Ashley Johnson is now in it, who was in the Last of Us. She was Ellie in The Last of Us, and Troy Baker is already, you know, one of the main characters. So there's that.
There's not a game that he's not in.
Plus, what's his name?
Cameo?
No, he's not in it. The guy that was the Troy Baker before Troy Baker. That's Nathan Drake and all those other guys, and
Nolan North.
But anyways, he's in it also. But basically, all the best voice actors in the game right now are in this game. Also, like, you had the choice, like, you know, I've said before, like, you have this, there's sort of that loot system sometimes where you can like pick up money or pick up items, and I was able to change my clothes now. Like before I could customize my vehicle, but I didn't want to do that, and this time I upgraded my clothes and my outfits, and it's cool that it just, you know, just changes now. I was upset because one of my characters lost her hat during the game, and I wanted her to have a hat again, so I went out of my way to go buy
a new hat,
a new outfit that came with the hat.
Malibu
so she,
Stacy
yeah, exactly.
With a new hat?
So she'd have her new hat now, and there was a point then later on where her hat fell off. I was like, "Don't forget your hat. Pick up your hat. Pick up your hat." And then finally, she picked up her hat. I was more worried about the clothes that I bought than what was happening to the safety of my characters. Also, it ended pretty fantastically. And so much so that I went back and played it because I felt like maybe I messed up, or maybe I could have done this a little bit better, which was fun. Like, that's all my choices that I make. I'm always interested in what the other ones are, but not like the other games where I'm like, I felt like I picked the wrong thing, or the game didn't want me to do this. I'd be like, oh, I'm satisfied with my answer. I just wonder what the other possibilities were. Also, they did a fun little, like, you know, next time on their next episode, and they did it as like an industrial, like video, like a 50s style video for the company that they used to work for. That's got the, you know, Hyperion that has the Helios sort of thing. That looks fun. I mean, we're 3 out of 5 episodes in. It's pretty fantastic. I wish this had at least 6, like Game of Thrones does.
No, Game of Thrones needs that 6th episode.
Yeah.
Because all dongs.
But they introduced a gay character, a female gay character, which was fun. I tried to get her to romance the other girl, which didn't really work. The other girl already has a girlfriend. But her whole backstory was very interesting. Playing with her and having the characters split up was always fun. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give away any of the fun stuff that happens, but just interacting with the characters and, like, there was the open world, where you can like walk around and sort of scavenge and stuff because you're trying to look for something.
Yeah.
And depending on the order of which you talk to people, give you different dialogue options. Like I went and talked to these guys before I had found this item, but if I found the item and then went and talked to them, then it opens up all these other options. So not only do they give you the fun little like, hey, go touch everything that you can, you also now get to have more options with the dialogue, which none of their other games have really done that yet, I don't think. So
that's cool. I mean, eventually maybe I'll get to it.
I mean, I'm not going to sit you down and make you play through all of it, but if you like Life is Strange, I think that you would probably have a lot of fun with this.
We'll see. I mean, I don't really care for Life is Strange.
I know you hate the Borderlands games.
I do.
But this really has nothing to do with it. It really doesn't.
But I feel like if I support them, then people are going to think that I support Borderlands. It's just a whole
First
mess.
of all, who's going to know?
Second of all,
they're
watching.
Yeah, that's true.
They're always watching. Well, then I feel like in our remaining moments, we have to get to our big prize money wheel draw.
Yep.
For those who are uninitiated, we are... The last episode, we did Massive Chalice and we did Life is Strange. Those were our games of the month. We just picked them. Well, one.
We just happened to both play both of them.
Yes.
You made me play Life
is Strange. Massive Chalice you got for free, and I enjoyed it.
I'm gonna put Tales from the Borderland in the pot.
You want to?
No, I'm kidding.
You can.
No, I've already talked about it.
So,
do I have more choices? If I have more choices, I might add something to it.
Well, here are your choices.
Just how many?
3. You get 3.
Okay, and you have 3?
And I have 3.
Okay, that's fine then.
But if you'd like to change any of your previous choices, folded them up. I will go through what we have in the pot. Here's what's getting added. From our buddy Denny D.
Yep.
He has added the first Witcher 1. He's added Overlord, Xbox 360 game.
Yep.
And a game called Murdered Soul Suspect, Xbox One and Xbox 360 game.
Put them out of business, as we learned from the trivia episode a long time ago.
Huh?
That game put the company out of business.
Yeah, it broke a company. From Chris 2, as we so affectionately call him, we have Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year War.
Well, those were for games for us to Twitch, not for this contest.
I think they were a contest. That's how I interpreted the...
When he says if you're looking for games to Twitch, here's a couple of them.
Can't you do both?
I mean, he can. I'm just letting you know he wants to watch us play those games.
Well, we could Twitch them if we get them.
Okay.
Anyway, Paper Mario: 1,000-Year War, Transistor, PlayStation 3 game, and computer, and PlayStation 4, and maybe Xbox.
I don't think so.
And Second Sight, which, if my gaming history serves me correctly, this is an original Xbox game that I own.
Nice.
Boom! In the pile. Our special guest has provided 3 answers for this collection.
That she had no choice of writing.
No, she has a choice.
Okay.
We decided them in the car.
Oh, okay.
I
was like, what?
I didn't decide them.
Yeah.
I told you to come up with 3 games. What did you come up with?
I tried to pick games that you guys would not particularly enjoy.
That's nice.
No, I'm joking. I have Bust a Groove, an old PlayStation rhythm game that I thought would be fun. It's dancing, but you don't actually get to dance.
Right.
You just press
it's
buttons.
button press, yeah.
There is Katamari Damacy, just classic sticky ball times.
Yeah.
And Cooking Mama, because why not? Let's do it. Let's make pretend popcorn.
Yeah.
I'll go my 3 and then you can go your 3.
Sure.
I changed some around. I wanted to get a little branch and paths here.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do different systems. Got Mirror's Edge. Prepare for the new Mirror's Edge. So go back, play Mirror's Edge. That's from, obviously, current, as I call it, even though it's already a generation old. Going super way back machine. Secret of Evermore. Super Nintendo.
Do you own it right now?
You can emulate it.
Okay.
That's how I'll play it.
Yeah.
I mean, technically that's illegal.
No,
but I don't
you would never.
I would
that.
never. But it's also not as like big of an RPG as like it's square, but it's more, I guess, action-y. It's like you're one character, you like A attacks. There's no like turn-based kind of thing. So I was thinking of you a little bit.
Thanks.
And then for Nintendo 64, this game, half joke answer, half I kind of want to play it. I used to own it. I could never get very far because I was bad and it was kind of terrible. But I'm putting it in the box. It's called Hybrid Heaven for Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
It's weird. What I will say is you go into like these dungeons, but when you get into a fight, it kind of turns into a wrestling game. Like you're fighting like lizard people, but you can do like suplexes and body slams.
Chokeholds.
Yeah. You do a chokehold stunner, and you can attack certain body parts, and like you could just attack their head, and then like it can kill them,
like
or
Doom.
you can just attack their legs, and then like they limp everywhere. It's interesting. I'm putting it in the box.
Caitlin, pick a hand. I'm replacing one of mine.
So last second change.
Vamp.
Alright.
You're not very good at vamping.
Vamp.
Yep, just say vamp.
That's what happens.
Okay.
Alright, what do you got?
You better... Oh, I gotta say mine out loud.
Well, I can read them for you.
So I did the... I believe I did the Tomb Raider remake. These are games that I have sitting on my Xbox that I have not played yet.
Tomb Raider remake.
The other one was Dishonored.
Yep.
Which they announced the other game. I have both a sealed new copy of Dishonored and the downloadable version, which I have not played either one. Plus, I bought all the DLC because they was on sale like 3 years ago.
And you got to prep for Dishonored too.
Right, exactly. And the new one that I just crossed out and put in was Night Trap.
Nice.
So I own the original, non-censored version of Night Trap.
This is FMV.
Yep.
Destroy the burglars.
Right. I'm pretty sure what was that, Sega CD or something like that?
During your sleepover days.
Right. So it was a game that quickly got banned and pulled from the shelves, and there's not many copies of it around. I'm sure there's an emulator version.
Isn't it super hard?
It is super hard. Okay, this is what I've wanted to play it for years and years because we can never get past the first puzzle. Never. We would always die. One time we did it. We just got past the very first, like, basically not even a tutorial.
Yeah.
And like I said, we can only do it once. We can never replicate it. We didn't know what we were doing. We're a bunch of idiot little kids, though, and I feel like maybe now I can do it. I'm still going to resist all urges to go on the internet and look up anything. I still know nothing about this game other than what I've played 20 years ago.
Let's say that's a rule. For whatever game we pick, we can't... It's a month-long game.
Yeah.
We'll review it in a month, but during that month... we can't look up things on how to beat it. Yeah. Even if it's something like Dishonored, where it's like, okay, we're just looking at an achievement. Like, we just have to, for that month... have to play it.
Black
it out. Yeah. And then after that month, if it's a 360 game and we want to go get a specific achievement, then we can look it up.
I'm fine with that.
Sound fair?
Yeah.
I'm going to shuffle these. And I guess I can do this, and I can do this.
Yeah, have... our guest pick one.
Make it like a Polaroid picture.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
Yes, you do. Why are you content to lie to me?
You gotta reach up.
You gotta jump up and grab it.
You like making fun of how short I am, don't you?
Yeah. Even one seated.
Oh boy. This is not in English.
Yes, it is.
Katamari.
And the winner... Katamari Damacy, one of Caitlin's suggestions. Caitlin, how do you feel? You just joined the podcast as the third host.
Yeah.
The permanent third host.
And your choices were to purposely upset us.
Yeah. Why, if I may, before we cut ties, you're... not with you, I mean with the episode.
Okay.
We are
because they're divorced?
What you told me in the car, I thought... you put Katamari in because you know I've played Katamari.
Yes.
You put it in because you were hoping that it would freak out Chris.
I was hoping it would frustrate Chris. Yes.
The idea of playing or actually playing?
Actually playing. I see you getting frustrated, and that made me laugh.
Nice. Maybe we should Twitch that one then.
We can Twitch it.
Yeah.
We'll have to.
I'll just record like 20 hours of me playing the game.
Yeah! See, here's my thought is no one can get frustrated playing Katamari because it's so relaxing that even if you fail, you're just like...
It's like meditation.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well. To me, it was my happy game. So you could have the worst day in the world.
That's
true. You could play Katamari. You're just rolling up little children. And
Unless
just
you play one of crazy
levels.
levels.
Well, yeah, I mean,
there's some levels that are I hate everyone.
But the first game didn't have that. That was the second game. Where it's second game was only roll up things that are red.
Yeah.
That's fucking ridiculous. You can't control the ball worth shit. But the first game's just roll up whatever.
Have a good time.
And I have a copy of Katamari I could give you.
Might have to do that.
So that way you don't have to get your own. We have two, right? I think we have two of that.
Or I can wait.
Yeah.
Either way.
It won't take you a month.
Yeah. Or I can come over couple times a week and just slowly play it at your house.
Play it. All right. So next month. So we will say
whenever.
We're
just gonna say whenever we're done.
Sounds like you're not gonna do anything between now and then.
Yeah.
Next month will be.
No,
we're on a month hiatus.
We give people a chance to play it first. Acquire the game, and then have time to play it, so that when we talk about it, they can either pitch in via Twitter or emails, or they can actually know what we're talking about. Because
if we get a phone for Angry Collins.
Should get a phone.
Yeah, let's get a landline. Right. Call into the show if you happen to be calling in while we're recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll send out a tweet.
Yeah.
Taking live calls. That's 822-222222.
It's just going to be Jake and Emily the whole time.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it for...
That is definitely it.
Yeah.
For an episode.
Signing off.
Yeah, sorry this one wasn't 2.5 hours like last episode, guys.
Yeah. I'm sure they're real upset.
Yeah.
I'm Phil.
I'm Chris.
And this has been...
This isn't fun anymore.
It's the first time we've kind of done that.
Yeah.
How'd that work?
I'm a little mad that you didn't give me time. I thought I was a third host.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, go ahead. I'll edit it in. No, I won't.
You can reach us on Twitter.
Yeah, you can reach us at our new landline,
Yeah.
1-800-EAT-DICKS.
Eat dicks. Hey, that works.
Yeah, I know.
On Twitter, we are at Not Fun Podcast. You can tweet us.
Continue to not follow us there.
Yeah, don't follow us, don't tweet us.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're crazy and you're like, hey, this has really made me want to tweet them. You can tweet us anything, any topics you want us to talk about or cover.
Yeah.
You can tweet us games that you want us to add to this rotating list of monthly games. Or just whatever your thoughts about video games. We will tweet back.
Yeah.
Very good at getting back to people. Because we only have 2 people.
Right,
tweet
or
us.
if you comment on anything on one of our YouTube episodes, we will respond to those immediately.
Yes.
Because we have nothing else going on.
We're
else. Desperate for attention. But yeah, there's still, I think, the easiest way to listen to these is probably iTunes. So subscribe to us there.
And rate us.
Yep.
Rate and review.
Right.
We want 2 stars and a nice review.
Well, yeah, because 1 star, getting a gold star is pretty good. So 2 has got to be
2.
great.
I mean, let's not go crazy. We're not the best podcast.
No.
So we shouldn't be a 5-star.
Right. Well, I've stopped editing these podcasts because I just can't listen to it.
They're garbage.
Yeah.
Rate us, review on iTunes. Tweet us. We have an email address. This isn't funny more podcast at gmail.com.
Sure does.
As Chris says, we have a YouTube page. All of the audio goes up on YouTube.
Yep. For
there
some
are
reason.
no videos currently.
Well, I mean, there's the episodes. All the episodes go up on YouTube.
Yes. But I'm
So
saying,
there's
you go to our
45.
YouTube channel, it's not just
Nah,
Us doing wacky
that's a lie.
hijinks.
There's a couple. There's some where there's us playing Fibbage,
Okay.
and there's some other stuff of us randomly playing games.
Okay. So I misspoke.
Yeah, because you're not a fan, you don't go there.
I don't. Why
Yeah.
would I go there? We have a Twitch.
We have 2 subscribers on YouTube.
Nice.
Yeah,
Hitting it out of the park. Oh, we got some other shit. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You care.
we have a secret Tumblr that you guys don't know about.
Yeah.
Try to find that. There's hidden messages in every episode.
But that, I will say, is all. Until next time, keep your butts a poppin'.
Yep.
Is that that's what the kid said?
Yep. I was gonna have a comeback, but we got nothing.
How are you gonna top that?
Right?
Pop them butts.
It's gonna look great. It's gonna look great on a t-shirt, guys. Keep sending us your t-shirt submissions to thisisintareal.email.address.com.
Oh, I love that address.
Sound effects. We're doing sound effects. Woo woo.
I'm farting.
A series of books. See, this is the stuff that I have to cut out of the episode. The episode's like 4 hours long, and it's just being kids.
What? That's amazing. Never would have.
End scene.
No, end transmission.